MIT. Now, Babbage was a mathematics professor at University of Cambridge, and this was the analytical engine he devised. And his idea that you could actually have a machine that can do logical operations, it was a remarkable achievement. This was in early 1800s. So that was a remarkable achievement. He couldn't, however, finish the machine because of lack of funding, because the instrument was so complex. So the entire British Empire, which was very rich in those days, couldn't actually fund the project because it was so complex. But later on, the London Museum actually finished the Babbage analytical engine, and actually this is a working model. So he is really like the godfather of computers. Now, when we think of computers, we always think of men, but in fact, the first person who actually developed the software, the brain for the computer, was Ada Lovelace. Countess Lovelace was the one who programmed Babbage's computer. And the modern equivalent of the guru of computing and the software was Alan Turing. It's funny that the two major figures, Ada Lovelace was a woman and Alan Turing was a gay. So it somehow feels like computers are mostly a men's profession, but it's probably not true. Alan Turing's 100th birthday was only like a few weeks ago, and the Google, if you have gone to Google that day, they had dedicated their entire homepage to Alan Turing. He had a very interesting story, which is, I'm not going to tell, but you should probably look it up. His story is very inspiring and interesting. Now, the first computer that could do a real logical operation was called ENIAC in the 1940s, developed during the war effort during the World War II. And it used to occupy a room as big as this, weighed about 30 tons, and cost several $1 million. And it could do barely around 1,000 flops, like floating operation per second. So this machine that was like several $1 million, and now this could do barely 1,000 floating operations, and this is probably way less powerful than the computers those all of you carry in your pocket these days. Now we have reached petaflop. For a long time, a petaflop or 1,000 trillion or a quadrillion floating operations was considered humanly impossible or machine impossible. But it was broken about several years ago. The first computer that broke was the Jaguar from IBM. And the interesting thing is, within 2 years, we have from 1 petaflop, the largest, most powerful supercomputer now has 16 petaflop. That is 16 quadrillion operations per second. That's just unimaginably huge number. Now, some of you might have heard of Moore's law, which is basically Moore was the founding engineer for the Intel computer. He predicted the computing processing power is going to double every year and a half or so. And interestingly, he has been true for the past 40 years. And moreover, when you trace back the development of computers, trace back all the way to 1900s, you could see that his rule actually applied even before the rule was proposed. So what happens is, initially it was electromechanical, then there was a relay. So once a particular integrated circuit or whatever the computer brain reaches the peak, a new development is going to happen. Now we are almost reaching the peak of integrated circuit. Now people are talking about quantum computing. So it is hopefully going to continue for the foreseeable future. Now exponential growth. Let me show the next picture to show what does exponential growth actually means. Now, this is very interesting cartoon if you cannot see. The entire human knowledge until the year 2003 was 5 exabytes. An exabyte is about 1 million terabytes. Now, this is your Gita, your Bible, your Quran, your Newton, your Einstein, every textbook we ever read, everything. Until 2003, the entire human knowledge was 5 exabytes. Now we create 5 exabytes every 2 days, 48 getting shorter. Which basically means if it took television like 30 years, the internet only took like 5 years to become widespread. Now, before I go all the way to hi-fi technology, let me show just one slide here that shows sometimes some of the major reduction in mortality and morbidity of common diseases have nothing to do with fancy technology, but simple sanitation and advances in socio-economic status. This is the death rate of tuberculosis over the past from 1838 to 1970 in Western Europe. And you can see the death rate has gone down dramatically down way before anybody has even invented the TB bacillus, way before there was any treatment for it. So this is from advances in socio-economic status. And this is where doctors do not have, unfortunately, not much of a role, whereas the politicians and our leaders have become. Now this is another slide to show that sometimes very simple technology. This is a photonic gate for mosquitoes that can track mosquitoes and kill them, and very cheap to install. These kind of things can make huge differences, even though they are not very fancy techniques or technology. This is kind of a timeline of what we are going to expect in the next couple of years. Of course, this is purely hypothetical, and this is probably the way it is going to happen. And I'm going to talk in detail in a couple of things. Of course, this talk cannot be comprehensive by any means. People in their own specialty probably have more information about what is happening in their field. But this is just kind of a very brief overview of some of the things that hopefully is going to happen in the next couple of years. So let's start with genomics. When we talk about genetics, for the longest time we always think of this simple diseases like sickle cell disease or hemophilia, which has very simple Mendelian inheritance pattern. Whereas we know that it is not just a simple disease; those are genetically inherited. If there are cardiologists here, if somebody has a family history of heart disease, that is a real strong predictor of heart disease to have in the person. Even though we do not really know exactly what all genes are involved. Now, for the longest time, we didn't know where to look and what to look for. Now, this is an iconic picture of Watson and Crick with their model of DNA, which I would say, ranks among one of the highest form of intellectual thought, right there with Einstein and Newton and all, that they could actually figure this out. But I want to show this picture here, Rosalind Franklin. Many of you may not have heard her name. She was actually the crystallographer who actually helped them to develop the DNA. Was completely ignored by the Nobel Committee and was completely ignored by the history. But she should have been part of the team that should have gotten the Nobel Prize. Anyway, so genomics is one field. Now we saw the power of Moore's law in computing. Genomics is one field where actually even that was put to shame. Now if you look at the cost of sequencing over the last 10 years or so, you can see the cost of sequencing genome has gone down faster than the rapidity of developing computer speed. So this has been remarkable. From what it used to cost like $1 billion more, has come down to several $1,000s. Now, just to kind of give a brief idea about genome, when we initially did the human genome, because it was the cover story of Nature, it was like the biggest news of the century. What we actually did was we kind of had a map, and just to continue the analogy with the map, so similar to a map of India, like here we have a vague idea, what Kerala is, what Bengal is, what Gujarat is. So this is where we were in 2001. Now, 6 years later, we did the human haplotype map. Now, the haplotype map was a much more focused, much more detailed. Like, just to give continue the same example, you could see the manner squaring, right? So this is within 6 years. So the next step would be to see the guy standing in line at the crown theater. Are we there yet? Actually, we are almost there. So to sequence every individual, like 10 years ago, when the Human Genome Project was completed, it cost $2.7 billion. A lot of money even for somebody like Bill Gates. It took 13 years, several thousands of scientists. 2009, less than $5,000. the wife of Sergey Brin, who is actually the chief of Google. This actually is an interesting example of information technology and biotechnology literally marrying each other. So Anne is the wife of Sergey Brin. And now it costs $299, about 15,000 rupees, very affordable. It costs less than a good smartphone. So this is the kind of where we are heading to. So I actually do see patients who have done this because you just have to send a saliva sample and they will send you the whole genome with all the prediction, all the disease you have risk for. It is really not fun to deal with those patients for the time being because it creates this super cyber hypochondriacs. But hopefully with more knowledge we will be able to handle this better in the coming years. Moreover, these inventions are coming up in ordinary, not medical journals. This is from the Time magazine, which is like a common journal for the public, not for medical. This was a year ago, and this was a cover story on doing your whole genome sequence and what all it can tell you. Whether you can do that, what all cancers you are prone for, whether you are prone for diabetes, way before something happens. Now, I can show slides of how the genetic information has influenced the practice of medicine, but I thought I'll limit to a couple of slides, couple of cases. Now, Nicholas Walker would be part of the lore of medical history because this child is the first child who has been genetically sequenced to find a diagnosis and a cure. So this boy was born with this recurrent infections, recurrent inflammation of the bowels, multiple surgeries. By the time he was 3 years, he apparently had like 3 or 4 dozen surgeries. Nobody knew what was going on with the child. All the tests were negative. The pediatricians, the doctor, the parents, the family, everybody was running out of ideas. So they decided to sequence the whole genome. And he was found to have a very rare form of immune deficiency syndrome that was not described before and was treated with a cord stem cell and got cured. So this is a remarkable story. It's one-sided story, but still things that you could potentially do in the future.